I wanted to create some practical application coaching videos because I believe that there's a lot of information out there, but a lot of people don't really know how to use it. Anybody can Google something and just create content around it, but I wanted to use my personal experience in certain scenarios to try and give some valuable outcomes. Anyway, enough rambling on. I wanted to get down to the point of working with combat athletes, and I have worked with a few in the past. A lot of these topics are generally going to be around strength and conditioning because that is my background. But you might find some crossovers into coaching, into S&C coaching, into personal training, as a lot of them are very close knit anyway. Now, working with combat athletes is difficult because there's not just the S&C training to think about. There's also the technical aspect of the sport. So we take boxing, for example. There are things like sparring to take into consideration, pad work, bag work, probably the running that they do throw themselves into, and then obviously the S&C work. And there's a lot of sort of stress going on at the body there. From personal experience and observing other coaches within combat S&C, I always find that we tend to spend a lot of the time worrying about periodization, what the program looks like, what are we going to get out of the athletes from our own program. Whether it's an ego thing and we want to just see how well our program develops an athlete, and then we want to sort of jump on the success of the bandwagon. But what I've found when that happens, especially previously, we need to take into consideration the other aspects of the sport. So like we mentioned before, the sparring, the bag work, pad work, a lot of the technical aspect of the sport. Because at the end of the day, the sport is what they are trying to get good at. They're not trying to get better at the S&C side or the weightlifting. Obviously, we do want to try and progress them in that to try and develop some physical aspects and physiological aspects for the boxing or for the combat sport, any sport in general. But what I've found mostly is coaches don't take into consideration periodizing or programming the technical side of things. Here's a perfect example and layout of maybe a Monday out of the 7-day week. So morning time, it may consist of coming off the weekend, we go in for some technical pad work, and then maybe later on in that night, we're going to go into some maybe sparring. This is just a general example. From there, we go into Tuesday, and if there's a lack of communication between the technical coach and the S&C coach, then if the S&C coach gives them a tough session on a Tuesday, that means they've had 2 back-to-back, probably trying to go for 100% effort on each session. By Wednesday, they're probably going to be already on a spiral down in terms of how they're feeling, a little bit fatigued, lethargic, tired. So what I'm trying to get at here is if we always focus on just programming periodization of the exercise, the sets, the reps, etc., why don't we why don't we organize also the communication or periodize the technical side of things? Example, if we have a high day or a high stimulus day or a high stressful day on the Monday in the technical aspect, then the Tuesday may just be something to facilitate that and work on low level work in terms of S&C, just so we can have the athlete ready for the Wednesday, whether that would be going again at 100% in the technical side of things or the S&C side of things. So the key points I want people to take away from this video is 1, don't be too highly focused on the periodization of programming in absence of forgetting about the communication with the technical coach and what they are inflicting on the athlete. Number 2 would be if you can organize communication from day 1 with the technical coach, then the athlete is going to be a lot better prepared in the long run from both the S&C side and the technical side. If the communication is there, this athlete is going to be 100% better.